Hi everybody. Um, I'm wearing a cool onesie today. It's way too big and it's not Christmas time, but I just felt like being weird. It's kind of fun how my daughter reacted about it. My 13-year-old was all, "Mom," and then I turned around and she saw like there's a butt flap on it, and she's like, "I don't even know how I feel about that." So, um, I am so lost. Today's gonna be such a first world problem post. So last week I went outside. When I wake up, I'm like really, really tired. So I went outside to sit, listen to music, and just kind of acquaint myself with the world. You know, I do this a lot of mornings because I don't want the kids to bother me. So I'll go out there, turn on my music, and just kind of chill in the sun. For maybe 20 minutes or so. So I went out there, sat down, put my phone in my lap, and it slid off my lap and landed on the ground and busted my screen. Okay, I have loved Galaxies since they first come out. Like I had the first one. Not when it come out. I had the first one. I think by the time the 3s or 4s came out, and I was in love with it even though I had to change the battery like every hour. I had like 7 batteries and 2 or 3 chargers for the batteries, and I would travel with like all these batteries, but I loved it. Um, Now, over the years, I would have uh, the best that I could afford. Um, and I was always, just kind of disappointed with my stuff because even like when the S4s were coming out, the Samsung Galaxy, the original, was better than a lot of the phones that you could buy as far as if you're using your phone to game on, which I do. I live for playing games on my phone. I am always on it. Um, so when I was finally able to get my S7, I was like, yay, I got an S7. I was so happy. Um, because everything just kind of, I mean, there's almost nothing worse than when you're sitting there on your phone and you see a game you want to play and you're like, yeah, I'm going to play this game. You hit install and it says you need to free up space. And you've got a memory card in your phone and everything, and you're like, I need to free up space. The fuck? This sucks balls. Thankfully now, most phones start at 16 megabytes, which is great. I remember when 8 was good. Um, so when I got my S7, I was like ecstatic and loved my phone for 2 years before I got the S9. When I first got the S9, I thought, man, I'm still going to use my S7 for like playing games on and stuff. And then it got to where I just did not pick up my S7. So when I dropped my phone on the ground and busted it, I was like, shit, I've never busted one of my phones because I don't throw my phones, I don't do stuff. And most of the time I have a case and a screen protector. Since I got the S7, the screen protector has been added to have to have a case. I mean, I do not buy a cell phone without buying a case. That the same goes with my kids. When they get a phone, the case comes with it. They can't have the phone until they have it in the case. Um, well, with my S9, I should have had a screen protector on it, but I didn't like the one that I got because it just one of the things I love about my S7 that I don't love about the S9 is the screen. The screen gets so dirty so fast on the S9. I mean, I never noticed dirt on the S7 screen. Never. On the S9, it's like every day, at least twice a day, I'm having to wipe it off because it's got smudges and stuff. Well, with a screen protector, that was like 10 times worse. Well, at least the screen protector that I got. So I didn't have that on there. So when it fell, even though it only fell a foot, it just happened to hit a rock that just happened to be on the ground at the right place. So then I was like, okay, what's it going to cost to replace the screen? Fucking curved screens. $219 through Samsung. Now, I called up my favorite, the place I take my phones when something goes wrong. Now, they typically mostly do iPhones, and I've only had to really use them for my daughter's phone. But because she just had to have an iPhone. So I got that. I called them up and they're like, "Oh, it's going to be $289. And what color is your phone?" And I said, "It's black." "Oh, we got a special order that." I was like, "Okay." So I contacted Samsung and was like, "Okay, how do I get my phone fixed?" And they want the places that they said were authorized Samsung repair places are places that are way outside of my comfort zone. Like one was Best Buy, and the Best Buy that's closest to me is at one of the most dangerous intersections that there is. I hate going to that Best Buy. I really do. The parking lot is always just full. It I seriously will not go there. I will not visit the store that's right next to it because I hate that parking lot. I hate that intersection. I don't even like that part of town. I only go to that part of town when I go see my therapist. And since I'm broke all the time, there's nothing for me to do while I'm waiting for them to fix my phone. And if they can't do it that day, that means I have to leave it with them, come back home, and then go back use all that gas to do that. The other places were um, further away and don't have anything to do in that area either. I don't know people there. You know, there's nothing for me to do for a couple of hours while they're fixing my phone or having to go back and waste gas again. Plus, that area is flooded right now, or it was. I still don't want to go down there. I don't like getting really close to the river. I got a thing about water. I don't mind small water. I just don't like big bodies of water, except the ocean. I like the ocean. Well, I like the beach. I like the way the ocean sounds. The river has no sound. So, the river does not soothe me. The river scares me. You fall off the bank of the Arkansas River, you may not come back out. If I fall off the bank of the beach, I'm not even really in the water because there is no bank. Unless you're going across a boardwalk on the beach. God, this onesie's too big. So, I had to send my Samsung via UPS to Plano, Texas. Now, Thursday, I had to go to therapy, and the closest UPS stores to me were either out in Benton, which I had no reason to go out that far to Benton at that time, or West Little Rock. And I was like, well, I'm going to be in West Little Rock. So I went, dropped the phone off, okay? So from Little Rock to Plano, Texas, and I was watching my UPS, okay? I tracked it. It got there Friday. But the people at Samsung didn't receive it until today, Tuesday. And they give me this little link on my email that says track your repair. I press the button. It just sends me to a page that doesn't tell me jack shit. Doesn't tell me that I even have an order or a repair or a ticket or anything. So I have to text chat with somebody. And they take forever. And it's like, come on. It shouldn't take forever. Because when I had to send my daughter, I had bought her an iPhone around Christmas time. And where's my, okay. And it died after about a month. And I was like, oh no. Really bad for that. So went to the place where I go to fix phones, the place that I trust, um, out in Bryant, and they said in no uncertain terms, this phone is fucked. It's fucked. I've got it somewhere around here. Um, Along with an S4 that only worked for a month. I think she shorted it out at the place we used to live at. I think she shorted it out. But anyway, they sold us a used, refurbished phone because they were like, hey, we'll give you 6 months of warranty on it. And I was like, okay, sounds fine. Then her iPhone starts losing, like, it won't make phone calls. So I went back and I was like, hey, what's going on with this? And they couldn't figure it out. And they said, well, there's nothing, we can't let you trade it or anything because it looks like it's been dropped. Had like a little scratch on the screen, which to me, it's a little scratch. My daughter says it's just a huge, big eyesore, but it's not. You can't even, you really have to look and it's like maybe a millimeter long. So she, I got to looking it up and everything, and turns out that her particular iPhone had a a flaw in the manufacturing. So I did send her phone off to California was where it went. And the neat thing about all that was they sent us the box for it and everything to send it back to them. And when she typed in her little number, boom, it popped up on the screen what's going on with her stuff. She knew every step of the way what was going on with her phone. And I was like, that's so cool. Samsung is not doing that for me. And I am so pissed about that because I'm like, hey, you should be doing as well as Apple. I mean, granted, the phone is so much better than, I mean, you could, well, you could give me an iPhone. I'd be pretty happy about that. But as far as which one I'd want to use the most, it would be the Galaxy brand because I don't like all the iOS bullshit. I prefer Android. I always have liked Android. Um, iOS to me is just a little bit more convenient than a Windows phone. You know, remember Windows Phone? I always thought about getting one, but I was just like, no, they don't have as many apps. I like apps. And it's very rare that I come across an app that isn't on Android and is on iOS. It's kind of funny that, like Amazon has some neat apps too that they have. See, what have I got? I have, when I have my S9, I have my S7 that I keep fully charged. My Fire tablet, which I keep fully charged. I have a Samsung Galaxy tablet, which I keep fully charged. um, because my computer will only do about 2 hours worth of stuff. So all of my gadgets have apps on them, and those apps, I will play those like if the electricity goes out, which it likes to do just about. I mean, my house, pretty much anytime you go, if the wind blows funny, our electricity goes out, and everybody around us will have electricity, but ours will be out for like a day. So, which, like I said before, first world problems. Um, so I like having all of those devices. That makes me feel comfortable knowing that I can at least get through part of a day, um, without charging something up. But I'll tell you what, going back to the S7 after using the S9 for a few months, I miss my S9 so much. Um, I never thought I would think that my S7 sucks, but here I am. I think that my S7 sucks. I'm like, oh no, I want my phone back. And it's Tuesday and they're not even showing, they're just showing that they received it, not that they worked on it. And I'm like, oh, you big dumb idiot. You should have taken it to the shop on Cantrell. You should have went there. You should have just said I'll go sit at Best Buy for a couple hours or a day or go back. I should have. I should have. And in the future, Lord help me if I ever break another screen. I ain't doing that. Anyway, that's where I'm at with things. I'm missing my phone. I am recording this on my S7, which the camera to me seems very much the same. I'm not noticing any difference in that. But God, I miss my phone. And I keep, every time I want to turn it on, I keep trying to put my finger on the camera because that's one of the really nice things. I mean, I was like, I'm going to miss not having a home button. And now I've got a home button. And I'm like, you know what? I miss just being able to stick my fingerprint on there. I'll tell you, once you upgrade, it sucks to be on anything else, anything that's older. It's horrible. But I'm so glad that I haven't handed this phone down to my son. I've been, I'm like, I'm not handing him an S7. No. He's 7 years old. He's good with his stuff, but no, I like this phone too much to just give it to him, and I'm glad that I didn't. Cuz I know he'll have the port all kinds of fucked up. Of course, on the plus side, it does wirelessly charge. And why isn't everybody doing that? I mean, it would seem like that would be just a really smart move on all of the phone companies to just make it to where every phone that they put out is able to wirelessly charge. I mean, does that really cost that much money to make that possible on new phones being manufactured? Go figure. Or is it some, I mean, it can't be a proprietary thing because if it was proprietary, then well, I don't see how you could make that proprietary. There's bound to be about, so many different ways to turn your phone into wirelessly charged without you actually having to buy shit to make it so. Or having to keep the hole plugged up. And I might ought to do that for my son anyway, just so he'll stop putting stuff in the. Yep, just might do that. Anyway, that's it for me. Have a good night.